Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's not hump day, but I'm still opening the show today. Hump day, I will be opening it as usual. Listen, I'm Ashley Nicole Moss. In case you didn't know, we got Brandon Marshall here. We got Woo out west. We got BC in the booth. We got the mysterious Manderville.
Where is he?
Maybe he'll give us a hoodie shot, a hand shot. I don't know what kind of shot we'll get from him, but we also will have the voice of God, aka JP, joining us from California, IA. If he sounds a little muffled, it's because he's underwater. As you know, they had a hurricane. Everybody's all good. No jokes aside, though. I'm glad everybody is safe and things like that. But he's coming from us from out west. He's really out west. Woo's out west in the studio. Right. JP's out west for real, for real.
Is JP going to be able to still control the chat and?
JP is a multitasker for sure.
You know, I want we gotta add his audio today because when we're in these production meetings, he says the wildest things.
JP says the wildest things.
Like what's wrong? Like you've been working with him longer, right? Like you guys are at SI together.
Yeah.
Or is he wild like that there?
Yeah, JP doesn't have a filter. If you think I don't have a filter, JP doesn't have a filter. So yeah.
We're here. Ashley, you want to go? You want to get to?
Sure, let's.
No.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Brandon has an announcement. I just want to go ahead and put this on record. I don't know what the announcement is.
Don't throw me under the bus.
My face is shocked. It's because I'm finding out with the rest of you guys.
No, you got to be a good teammate and you got to go with the flow. No disclaimers.
I don't want to.
No, so Ashley was about to get into news of the day, but before we get into news of the day, I have some news.
Oh my God.
Can we share some news? What is this, Ashley?
Oh,
what happened yesterday?
God.
What is going on? Yo.
Oh my God.
Wait, don't do that. You posted it.
Yeah, Ash. Come on. That's you.
No. What is happening?
If you think the chat.
What deal was this?
Mine.
If you thought the chat was wild before.
Oh my God.
That's our Ashley Nicole Moss. That's my twin.
Twin.
I don't know why. Boo, why is she acting like this? She literally posted on Twitter.
Did you not hit post?
Did you do this?
Jeff, Ashley.
I plead the fifth, Ash.
Oh my God. Whose idea was this?
It was my.
I hate everybody.
So congrats is in order.
Thank you.
Explain this to us. Is this like a real thing?
Yeah. So I'm officially a brand ambassador for Tommy Hilfiger. So they have a group of ambassadors. Stefon Diggs is one. Damon Idris. You have Madeline Klein from Outer Banks. If you watch Lewis Hamilton. So I am a part of the Tommy Hilfiger family.
I just got goosebumps. Look at this. Can y'all? I got goosebumps. Ashley. Those names again? That's like
Stefon Diggs.
You're now a part of the elite group.
Thank you.
Diggs.
Stefon Diggs, Lewis Hamilton. You have Damson Idris. You have Madeline
Is that the
Klein.
guy that's dating?
Yes, Franklin from
Lori?
Snowfall. Also,
yeah, he's dating Lori.
So yeah, I'm excited to join the Tommy family. Wow. If you guys know, I'm a huge Aaliyah fan. I've made that known. Aaliyah is one of my idols. She's somebody that I've looked up to just from a fashion standpoint, just a vibe standpoint, especially as a little girl when she was still with us. And she was the ultimate Tommy girl, so it's like a full circle moment.
How did it happen? How did it happen? Take us through the process, because this is a big deal. You just named, and I'm not like, hopefully you're not taking it as disrespect, but like you're now part of the elite of the elite.
I know,
Stefon
those are
Diggs,
big names. I know.
Lori Harvey's boyfriend, whatever his name is.
Lori Harvey's boyfriend, that's shady.
So take us through the process.
No,
people want to know.
I have always been very big into fashion, as you guys know, and I've always been manifesting an opportunity to work with a fashion brand and just waiting for the right opportunity, and have made sure that, in my sports jobs and things that I do, I make sure that my fashion sense comes through, and I think that's what kind of separates me from some of the other women in the industry. I think that women in sports tend to try to be as clean cut as possible, because that's the way that we have been taught to be.
Yep.
And for me, I have always kind of gone against that. I've always wanted to express my individuality and my creativity, and all the things that I do in my normal life on the screens. So
Right.
I've made an effort throughout my career to let my fashion come through, and it became something that caught their eye, and the connections were made, and that's kind of where we are.
So let's you said the voice of God. Let's go to one of our producers of the show, JP, that's out in LA. It's early over there. JP, do you approve of this? Are you with us, JP, first? And if you are, do you approve of this? What's your thoughts on it? Throw the picture back up, and this is the last time I'll show it because Mr. Jeff is probably in the chat. Like, I know Pop said something.
My mom took this picture, so she knows.
That's good.
Yeah.
JP, are you with us?
I am here, sir.
Okay, so you guys been friends for a while, maybe are just colleagues for a while. What's your thoughts here of Ashley Nicole Moss?
The average millionaire has at least 7 streams of income, so I'm glad that Ashley is getting to the bag.
Appreciate it, JP.
I love it. All right, Ash, that was my news of the day.
Thank you.
That was some news. You know, it wasn't too bad, was it?
It wasn't too bad. I was holding my breath. I was scared.
And you're going to give a disclaimer.
It could have gone left real quick. It could have gone left.
I always got to play it off on TV.
Listen, that was your news of the day, but we have a lot of news of the day to get through. We're going to start with Sha'Carri Richardson. She made history, wins the World 100-meter title. The American sprinter, she missed the Tokyo Olympics after she failed a marijuana test. As we know, we kind of alluded to that yesterday. But she sped to the world's fastest woman title in a time of 10.65 in lane 9, which is unheard of in the track world. Just take a look at this video. This is insane.
Ashley, what I see here in BC, let's let this play out, and then you can rewind it as many times as you want while we're talking about it. But if you watch her, you see someone that literally more like just evolved and elevated into their prime. Yeah. Right there. Ashley, you know I always say this, and I don't think you believe me when I talk about the eyes. Like if you look into an athlete's eyes, I'm being honest, right? Like we're not talking basketball. Look at her. Look at her eyes. Yeah. Right? She's locked in. She's so focused. She's so poised. She wasn't winning the first part of this race, but she ran her race. Right? Yeah. And so I see someone that's so confident, that's so stable. Just a few years ago, this was somebody that was in so much turmoil, and we didn't even know if she would ever be on a big stage again. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of her. I've had several conversations with her over the last 2 years. She's fun. She's awesome. I've been trying to get her on the show, but she's locked in. Yeah. But when you look into her eyes, when I look into her eyes, I just see somebody that is ready for this stage. And I think she's just getting started. I think we may see one of the best careers in track and field that we've ever seen. And I'm putting her up there with the legends of this sport.
No, I think for people who are not familiar, and JP can chime in here because he is more of an aficionado in this than I am. But for people who are unfamiliar, the outside lane is like, you might as well be running blindfolded. Right. Like it's like it's tough. It's the worst.
It's the hardest lane.
It's the hardest lane, the worst possible spot for you in terms of your vision. So to go ahead and not only win from the outside lane, but to have a time of 10.65 in lane 9 is almost like unheard of. JP, like, am I right or am I wrong? That's insane.
Nobody sets meet records from lane 9.
Waiting on JP to chime in here on Zoom. But
he's chiming. He just spoke. Oh. Yeah, he's speaking. Yeah. What was that, JP?
Nobody sets meet records, more or less wins from lane 9.
I know. It's honestly absolutely it's unheard of.
So JP, I thought she won the prelims, right? So how did she end up in lane 9? Do we know?
She won her first heat, but she damn near didn't win in the semifinals. Her semifinal race was trash. So for her to bounce back in the fashion that she did, hey, she's legit. And she's prepped for Paris now, 2024 for the regular Olympics.
This is awesome, Ashley.
This is an awesome story.
I ran track. And,
did you?
I'm not a fast guy. I never was a fast guy. I ran the hurdles. I triple jump, high jump.
I can see you in the hurdles.
And so when I did the sprints, I was always in lane 9. and that shit was painful. It's painful. You're right, and
yeah,
it's hard.
It's the worst lane,
right? Because like when you're in the middle, like lane 4, lane 5 is where you want to be. That's where it's prime. That's where the best are, right? And you can feel everything. You're running against the best, right? So like that's pulling you, that's pushing you. When you're out there, like Ashley said, it's just a blind spot. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Is there a difference in like I get it on the curve, right? But if isn't it like more of a straightaway?
Yeah, but it's more so about
it's vision or lack thereof, rather.
Oh, okay,
you know what
okay,
I mean?
okay.
Because you got to think about it. There's no one to one side of you. When you're on the outside lanes, everyone's in your middle. Whereas when you are in the middle lanes, you have to the left, to your right. You can kind of feel the pace. When you're on the outside lanes, you're at a disadvantage essentially because you can't. Everyone's on one side of your body, and the other side of you is just grass. So it's like the worst lane to be in. That's why they say it's like running blind, because you can't get a feel for your competition from the outside lane.
So Ashley, I looked this up on Google. Shout out to Google. Hopefully they come in as a sponsor one day. But I'm in this little like Reddit little chat, and it says all runners will run the same distance, whether it's the 100, it's a 400 or 200. Let me take this out before.
Is my mic good? Everyone says my mic sounds weird. Is my mic okay? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
I can hear you.
Are we good? Okay. Cool.
Okay,
I don't know what the chat's talking about. Then they said switch the mics. I don't know.
Maybe that's JP. But if you're running 100 to 200 to 400, you're running the same distance.
Right.
But the fastest typically get to being lanes 4 and 5, and any race. This allows them to start in the middle, and they have a better idea of where the other runners are. Right. So that's what you want. You want to be able to feel. All the others.
For sure.
Another quick thing before we move on. What I want to highlight. I loved her interaction with the Jamaican women's sprinters after, right? Like they walked up and they were trying to be quiet and discreet, but the mic picked up their audio, and they were like, "Damn, it's been." One of the runners was like, "It's been a long time since American won." The 100.
No, beating a Jamaican in the 100 meters.
They dominate.
Listen, but Andrew,
I know.
Okay,
right.
Yaman potato.
Listen, you don't do it. It doesn't happen. So it was multiple things happen in that race that were unheard of. But absolutely,
yeah.
I love it. It's a great story. It's a great turnaround. Underdog becomes top dog. It's just I love it.
That's
so
right.
we're definitely
she's back, baby.
She's back. Well, listen, you know who's not back? Jonathan Taylor, because the breaking news came out yesterday that the Colts officially gave running back star Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade. Now, on July 29th, Colts owner Jim Irsay said, quote, "We are not trading Jonathan, not now and not in October." Well, it is August, so he's right. They weren't trading in October. They were trading in August, so here we are. He is officially eligible to go ahead and seek a trade. Now, I think we can all go ahead and assume, Brandon, even you can go ahead and speak to this obviously more. The Colts are not going to give Jonathan Taylor up without a fight, meaning they're not going to give him away for pennies.
Right.
It's going to be one hell of a trade to go ahead and get one hell of a player. Oh, now my mic just got loud in my ear. Okay, here we go. So knowing that and knowing the situation that is at hand, are you surprised that Jonathan Taylor is now eligible to seek a trade, or are you just like, this is kind of what I expected?
Right. No, great question, and it's a great piece of news today. Before we move forward, make sure that our audio is good. Chat, let us know if our
it's good.
mics are
It's good now.
We're good.
It just increased in volume.
Okay, great.
We're good.
Ashley, this is posturing. This is absolutely posturing, not only by Jim Irsay and the Colts, and also Chris Ballard, the general manager, who I love, right? Chris Ballard, I spent a lot of time with him in Chicago. I'll call, he's one of those guys I can call right now. He'll answer the phone.
Okay.
We have that type of relationship, and I think he's one of the best in the business. Now, I wish he had a quarterback over the last couple of years. He's been in quarterback jail, so they haven't been able to really get over the hump, but he knows ball. He knows leadership. He knows how to get it done, okay? But I got to call a spade a spade. This is straight posturing by them and also the NFL. We know that collusion happens. We know that the NFL and the owners control the market. And so for them to go out there and say, yeah, now we're going to grant you your the right to seek a trade, right? That's just them saying, go out there and see what happens, right? The owners already got together and said what we're going to do. No one's going to come out here and offer him more than what Saquon Barkley got. Saquon Barkley it's not a bad deal, but it was nothing. He got nothing outside of $800,000-900,000 in incentives that they control, that was higher than the franchise tag. So they're not going to go out there and give him more than $11 million. He's lucky if he get that. The market is the market. I was talking to a general manager last night, Ashley, and I was like, look, man, what is a first rounder worth? Right? Talk to me about this, because this is going to say a lot, right? Because if they're saying that, we're now going to trade you, but we're seeking a one, then what's the value of that? Like, I really wanted to get to the value. Now, it wasn't this robust and it wasn't a complex conversation, but what he said was, when you draft somebody in the first round, or when you look at a first round pick, what you're saying is, we expect them to go to the second contract, to get to the second contract with us.
Right.
Right? And so what you're saying is, this kid deserves a second contract, right? So obviously, rookie deal, he outplayed that deal. He ended up getting hurt, but we know he outplayed that deal. He is one of the best running backs in the NFL when he's healthy. And now he deserves a deal. So they're telling you exactly what they think his value is. When you're a first rounder, you get the bag. And what they're saying is $10 million is what it's going to be. And so that literally shows us that they're controlling the market, and that this is fucking posturing, and I'm sorry I'm cursing, but this is posturing by the NFL. This is posturing by the Colts, because they know what the outcome's going to be, Ashley. I'm heated. I'm going to stop rambling here, but we know what it is.
It's definitely interesting, because Jonathan Taylor, like you said, one of the best. I think the Colts are in a position where they're not going to be a team that is completely out of the running for any type of movement in the postseason, in the playoffs. So you would think that they would give themselves the best opportunity and keep one of their most viable assets. So the fact that they are willing to go ahead and even gamble and play this game. Now, much to your point, we are in the midst of training camp, right? A lot of rosters are still being finalized. A lot of decisions have already been made, will continue to be made. So I think they're also trying in their advantage to use the timeline that they're currently in to kind of force Jonathan Taylor to make a decision quicker sooner rather than later, versus he would if this was earlier in the offseason. If this transpired, say, during OTAs,
right,
there'd be a lot more back and forth. Look at the Saquon situation. How long did that go back and forth? But we are in August. The season starts in 2.5 weeks.
Right.
If you're Jonathan Taylor, you want to be settled in a situation before the season starts.
That's
whether that's the Colts or another team. The Colts are banking on the fact that he's not going to find another team that's going to allow him to adhere to that timeline, so you have to adhere to mine. That's exactly what's happening here.
Well, think about what we're saying here, right? So, one, if a team goes out there and they give up a one, that's what they're asking for, right? Then you want to lock that player in.
Right.
But if the market is at $10 million and he's saying, I'm not taking that deal, right? Then what are they going to offer? They're going to give up a one for just 1 year? They're not going to do that. It's too valuable. That's why I said it was posturing, because they're saying, yeah, go out there, test the market, and see what happens.
Right.
Their team's going to come out. There's teams that want him, but they won't give up a first. But the Colts, they're not going to give up him for a second or a third.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I hate this situation.
And especially not in a market where the running back position is not valued as it has been in previous seasons.
Right.
We are in a time, and we've spoken to multiple vets between Troy Aikman and Thomas Davis and everybody in between, and they have said, while they view and will continue to view the running back position as a viable part of the offense, viable part of a football team, the market and the way that the owners and these teams are dealing or not dealing with running backs has dictated their value, which is a direct contradiction to how players value them.
That's right.
But like you said, the market is the market, and the Colts know that. They know it's not a running back market.
Right.
And they say, all right, go ahead. Figure it out.
Listen, I the last thing I would say here is that I like what Jonathan Taylor's doing. And this is uncomfortable for a lot of players. This is uncomfortable for a lot of fans. It's uncomfortable for a lot of teams. But that's the only leverage that you have.
Right.
And so I like this because if he goes out there and gets hurt, he's done. He will never be able to see this money again. So I like that he's standing up for himself. But the only tweak that I would make is that you sign the franchise tag so you lock that $10 million in because he's still training, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's getting ready for the season. Right? It might not be in Indy, but he's getting ready for the season. If he goes out there and he hurts himself on some high school football field or some high school gym, now they're going to say non-football injury, and now they don't have to pay him. Right? So that's why you sign the deal, but then you do a hold in. So he should sign this deal. That's what he should do. Right? The bigger thing, Ashley, is that this franchise tag have no place in the league, and you've heard me say this time and time again. Right. So hopefully he finds himself in a better situation, but it's not likely. It's not likely. They control the market.
From one messy situation to another, Scooter Braun, who is a mega manager in Hollywood, he is responsible for managing the talents of Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, and other.
Just bought QC. He acquired QC.
Did he really?
Did.
Yeah,
he bought
Quality
QC.
Control?
I think for
400 million.
400 million. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Well. Listen, Ariana Grande and Demi Lovato have parted ways with longtime manager Scooter Braun. Now, Justin Bieber, there was a rumor that he was going to go ahead and also part with Scooter Braun, but right now he is still under contract. But sources say that he is in the process of still seeking new management so that when that contract runs out, he can go ahead and move forward. Now, in recent years, Scooter Braun has been controversial for his dealing with Taylor Swift. He used to be Taylor Swift's manager and went ahead and bought all of bought her entire catalog basically behind her back, which then forced her to go ahead and re-record albums 1 through 5 so that Scooter Braun could not profit off of Taylor Swift's music. So this is a major thing. He is a major manager responsible for managing some of the biggest talent in Hollywood. I mean, it would be interesting to listen. People just don't part with their managers, their longtime managers at this rate for no reason. I mean, this is back to back. Do you think that we're about to hear a really massive scandal come out?
No, we already did, and I think
not the Taylor Swift scandal, something else, because I mean that happened years ago, Brandon.
Yeah, you're right. And so listen, full disclosure, full transparency here.
Okay.
Scooter Braun is a huge New York Jets fan. He's one of the biggest Jets fans. You have Gary V. You have Scooter Braun. Mm-hmm. You have Redman. Like Q-Tip was just out at practice. I don't know where the hell
we have Jay-Z. We win.
Jay-Z is not a
Jay-Z's a Cowboys fan. I can play the video for you again.
So I'm saying that, Ashley, because a couple of months ago, I spent time with Scooter Braun. I was at his crib and we had a conversation and this came up, right? The Taylor Swift thing. And what I would say, right, because I don't have his permission to, really defend him or tell his side, there's more to this story, right? And if you really know Taylor Swift, Taylor, is it Swift? Taylor Swift? Mm-hmm. There you go. Are you Swiftie? So if you know Taylor Swift is like Coach Bill Belichick said, and we'll get to that later, she's tough.
Well, what does that have to do with these two?
So now transitioning to what's happening now. Scooter Braun may already be a billionaire. Scooter Braun is a huge investor. He has a fund that's done extremely well. I think he just brought in a partner and they may have brought in like $1 billion to invest in new startups and more opportunities. So I'm saying all that to say that, this has run its course. Managing talent, the egos and the challenges of managing talent, even the good, the bad, all that stuff is like you burn out. So what I believe is happening is they see him transitioning into that space. He just acquired Quality Control, bottom for I don't know if you have the
350 million.
350 million, and they're probably sitting back like, do you still care about this? And it's the same thing that my agent is going through now. Like my agent, Kennard McGuire, has been in the business for a very long time, and he's still managing general managers and head coaches and so many other players. But I could see it, and I can see that he's like, you know what, it's time to pass the torch. So now he's starting to build his company with other agents and younger agents that can keep up with the youth. So I think there's more to the story here, Ashley.
Maybe not. We shall see.
We will see. It's interesting. Listen, I don't think there's going to be any scandals.
Maybe not. But speaking of scandal, James Harden, we have some breaking news real quick.
Oh, Lord.
The NBA is fining 76ers star James Harden $100,000 for his recent comments referring to the franchise president, Daryl Morey, as a, quote, liar. Sources tell ESPN. That is via Adrian Wojnarowski. So, yeah, James Harden called Daryl Morey a liar. He's being fined $100,000.
You get fined for an opinion?
That's tough.
Well, you get fined for criticizing your employer.
Huh?
What if he actually lied to him, though? What if he did actually lie to him? You know?
That is a fair point. But I'm saying I believe there is a clause in the NBA code of conduct, whatever, that you cannot, as an active player, criticize publicly your employer. Criticize your employer with something that is not publicly known. So meaning, like, if he did something publicly, I believe that's not exact language. So, like, for example, if James Harden was a retired player, he could bash Daryl Morey all he wants. If James Harden was no longer on the 76ers, he could bash Daryl Morey all he wants. But I don't think that you can call Daryl Morey a liar while being on the 76ers, while also referring to a situation that the rest of the world was not privy to.
That's crazy to me.
I believe that's the case. We can double check that.
I know about criticizing the referees, right?
That's NBA regulation. This is code of conduct, like player NBA whatever. This
makes no sense to me, but Ashley, we'll go ahead before I move on. You had something to say?
He's looking it up for me to see if that's
looking it up.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. Well, Ashley, remember when we first started talking about this, and it may have been like the second day, right? James Harden came out. He said what he said, right? And then I think maybe a day or two later, we had another discussion about James Harden.
Right.
And what I said is I could see the NBA coming together saying we cannot let this happen. And that's what's happening now is the NBA is looking at this and saying, man, this is a mess. And if James Harden does this, then who's going to do it next? I don't know if we've seen messy situations, but this might be the messiest situation ever in the NBA, right? We know about players asking for trades. We know about players sitting out. We know about all of that. But for James Harden to go out there on record, say it's time to get uncomfortable. I think and hopefully I'm not, I didn't fall for a prank, but I think he posted a story of like a fat bodysuit.
No, that wasn't him.
That wasn't him. Okay, good.
That was just on Twitter. They drew it like he's gonna put on his fat suit.
Like no, I saw it was like James Harden posted this.
That's funny.
This was last week. And then you go out there and you look into the camera and say, I'm not playing for this guy, he's a liar. I think this is the NBA coming down, just like the NFL has done time and time again, saying we can't let this happen. This could be a trickle-down effect to other guys in the NBA.
It's the code of conduct crap. And what I don't like about it is that if the roles were reversed and Daryl Morey came out and called James Harden a liar, are you going to fine him $100,000? And it's not about the money. Let's make it very clear. It's not about the money because Lil Baby and James Harden blow that in a strip club on a regular night. So it's not about the money.
I'm telling you,
it's about the principle. The principle of the matter is that if the roles were reversed and Daryl Morey or, whatever owner came out and bashed their player or a head coach came out and bashed their player publicly, whether at the podium, whether at the mic during training camp, and we've heard some not so great comments, whether, subtly or directly made about players via their coaches, via the front office, via management, and there's no repercussions for that. So one of my favorite sayings is what's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. Like, you can't pick and choose who is held to a certain standard of respecting their employer and employee in a workspace, if that's what this is all about, that has to go both ways. Because if I can't call you a liar, you can't call me a bum.
Right.
Can I ask you guys a question? This reminds me of the Jim Irsay response to Jonathan a couple weeks ago, where he said, if we died, like no one would care. Right. I know it may not be in the same vein of criticism, but do you guys think that that's fair that he gets to say that and not get fined?
Yeah, I think what Jim Irsay was trying to say was the game is bigger than us.
Yeah, it was the way he said it was
different.
ugly.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
Ashley, I'm with you, and I think you're 100% right. But I think that this is bigger than just the code of conduct, right? Because there's so many things that we overlook in our leagues, right? There's so many rules. We're like, all right, we'll let this one go. I truly believe that this is the NBA trying to get James Harden in line, because if you get James Harden in line, then the other guys will follow. That's what they're assuming, right? I remember the Houston owner for the owner for the Houston Texans back in like 2016 made a comment. It was to his team, right? But there was no cameras around, but all the players came out and said, "Man, this owner just said this to us." I believe he said, "We can't let the inmates run the yard."
Yes, that was
that?
Wasn't that fresh off before?
It was Kaepernick.
Yes, Kaepernick, right?
But that owner was wild. It was his father, right?
Bob McNair.
Bob McNair. Yeah. He said some wild things over the years, but I think that's what this is. It's just that, because where James Harden is taking this, I don't know. Do you have any? Is there any other case out there that we can, compare this to?
What do you mean? Like currently,
messiness,
or just in the
period? Like
I mean, there's been a bunch of messy situations. You have to look at when AD forced his way out of New Orleans.
Yeah, but AD wasn't saying nothing though, Ashley. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about.
No, I think AD said it wasn't nearly as bad. No, he refused to play.
Right.
And then he got Rich Paul to get him out of there. I think. I mean, no. Ben Simmons never said anything. He just wasn't gonna. He never said anything.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're trying to look it up. I don't see many.
But it's powerful what James Harden is doing, because think about this. James Harden came out and said what he said, and then what happened after that? You had P.J. Tucker support him. You had Chris Paul come out and support him.
Joel Embiid.
I don't know if Joel Embiid said anything, but you had like 3-4 prominent people say like, nah, like Daryl Morey is a liar. Daryl Morey is tripping.
I think the only person you can kind of go ahead and say was probably as vocal and against the grain, maybe Kyrie, when he wanted out of Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Kyrie,
but it wasn't this
Kyrie
messy.
was talking. Like he wasn't calling nobody a liar, but he was chirping.
Okay, all right. Well, it's close. But look, Ashley, I don't know what's next. This is just gonna piss this man off. He already dug in. He's planted his flag in the ground. He's saying, "I want to be out of here." Now you come find him. You know what this reminds me of is my situation with Josh McDaniels in Denver.
We don't want to hear this story again.
No,
Brittany.
you didn't never heard this story. I never told this story.
Oh my
Josh
God.
McDaniels, because I was doing a hold-in, right? And he comes to me and he say, "Hey, we want to pay you." So this is our last preseason game. I've been sitting in the back of the room with a hoodie on for weeks.
Not a hoodie.
New playbook, new regime, new everything. Never opened up the playbook, never took notes. We're a week away from the season, right? And so we're doing this back and forth. So he brings me in after all this. I'm not going to pay. He said, "We want to pay you. But what I want you to do is stay behind. We're going to go to Seattle. I want you to clear your head. We're going to get a deal done over the weekend. And when we come back Monday, it's a fresh start."
Can we get an ISO on Brandon while he tells this story, please?
So,
this is funny.
So what ended up happening, Ashley, I stay in Denver, Colorado. I don't know what the hell I was doing while the team was in Seattle. And then you had the team there, and they start going back and forth with my agent. They send over a deal that says, "Hey," this is how they open it up. Here's the headline. "Yo, you're going to be the richest Bronco in the history of this organization," right? But to make that money, more money than John Elway ever made.
Whoa.
And they said to make this money, you got to score 4 rushing touchdowns and your yards per catch goes up. These are all the things that they control. And I'm not a running back, right? So I didn't take the deal. You know what happened when he came back? He hit me for conduct detrimental to the team. And you know how much that fine was? $75,000. That's what this reminds me of. And you know what it did? It pissed me off even more, right? So I say all that to say this, that I can see James Harden even digging even more and getting messier. James Harden going to play in China, Ashley. We can move on. He's playing in China. He's not playing in Philly this year because you said there's no market for him. So what is he going to do? China's his only option. Huh?
He's going to join Dwight Howard in Taiwan. On that little buggy.
Taiwan ain't paying.
Calling out all those names on the buggy.
I can't.
Taiwan ain't paying enough. Ashley, Rihanna.
Yes. I know everyone's like, why do you say her name like that? That's how you pronounce her name.
Rihanna, you're right.
Rihanna is the American way of saying it. Rihanna is the Bayesian way of saying it. But Rihanna recently gave birth secretly to her second baby with A$AP Rocky. It is reported that it is another boy for the couple, and his name will begin with A-R. It also is reported that she says that she feels that her family is now complete. Don't know if that means that she won't be having any more kids, but she says she feels her family is complete. I love this. They're such a cute couple.
They are.
Like, such a fly couple, a dope couple. One thing I really like, too, about them is, like, I don't know if, like, you guys remember, but they've crossed paths multiple times in their careers, but she was always dating somebody else. She was with Drake, or she was with Chris Brown.
She was with Drake?
Travis. Yes. Rihanna and Drake were together for a minute. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
Travis Scott, I think maybe they briefly tried to date, but it didn't work out, and they went their different directions. But she said in her a Vogue article that I read, they always remained friends. They always remained in each other's lives. They remained a friendship, and then one day they were hanging out as friends, and it was different. And then that's what kind of just started this relationship, and now they have a beautiful family together.
Listen, this is a cool couple. And they're under a lot of pressure, huge microscope on them every single day. So hopefully they make it. They're one of the examples. We need more great examples in our culture.
Do you think they get married?
Yeah, I mean, they got 2 kids. They already married.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, do you think they get married?
They gotta get. I can see it. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you don't know what's going on. Sometimes, man, in this Hollywood world, man, they be doing stuff just to...
Let us know, B.
Ain't no clout. No, I'm just saying, like, you know, people do things to push their career for. I'm not saying this is the situation.
Yeah,
but we've seen this. You never seen this before. I'm gonna date this person because of that. We gonna stay together.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. One career boosts another.
Look, you said something interesting, Ashley, about her saying her family is complete. You know, at the Super Bowl, you know, she was there. She performed. It was a legendary moment for her. That's where she actually revealed baby number 2. And the world went crazy. There was more people watching her than they were watching the Super Bowl, right? I think viewership went up by probably 20-something million watchers. But after that, everybody was like, yo, we want to see, we were expecting you to announce, you know, your tour or a new album. People are waiting for a project from
girl
Rihanna.
is a billionaire. She don't have to do any of that. Leave her alone.
Yeah,
I mean, I want R9 though. Trust me, I want R9. But
what's R9? That's the name of the project?
No, R9 would be Rihanna 9, like her 9th album.
Okay.
That's what the fans call it. Like, just because they don't have an album, they say R9. We want R9. Like, we want.
All right. So recently, Ashley, you went to Beyonce's concert on Friday, right? You seem to be a fan of also Rihanna. Okay, so you got Beyonce and you got Rihanna. They both have a concert in South Florida at the same time. Whose concert do you go to?
Always Beyonce. And I've seen Rihanna live twice.
How was it?
She's dope. She's not like a performer like a Beyonce, but it's a vibe. Like it's a cool like atmosphere and stuff. But Beyonce puts on a show. I'm talking production. I'm talking visuals. It is a theme. It is like watching a Broadway play, like from just a production standpoint. The costume changes. Her mic is on. She's singing. She's dancing. Like it's basically like watching a movie in front of you. She had disco balls and floating horses and fireworks and robots, and it was just crazy.
And then Blue Ivy somewhere.
Blue Ivy pops up. She had a metal tank that she was with a stripper pole in it. It was crazy.
Did you see on a run tour?
I saw On the Run. I saw
dope.
Renaissance. I saw the Mrs. Carter tour. I saw the Formation World Tour. If there's Beyonce tour, I have seen it. I saw her at Coachella.
The last one was with her and Jay-Z. That's the
On the Run tour.
Which one was
better? No, the
better?
Formation World Tour was her last tour. That's when she did that.
I'm talking about the one with her and.
Oh, that
Jay-Z.
was On the Run tour.
Which one was better? Because I haven't seen this one. On the Run tour.
This one was way better.
Really?
On the Run was dope though. On the Run was super cool because it was her and Jay-Z. So if you're a fan of Jay-Z, you got to hear a lot of his songs too because they performed together and then they performed separately. So dope. Jay was performing a bunch of his catalog. So it was like 3 concerts in one. So that was dope. But from a standpoint of like visuals and graphics and this Renaissance tour was just like a giant party. It was basically like, imagine going to the coolest club like Studio 54 back in the day, and she had, like I said, horses, and she had disco balls, and she had the guys, they had a voguing contest, and like in the middle of performance, she had a metal tank with a stripper pole in it.
Okay, like, Ashley, okay. Let me ask you another. Let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a Swiftie? So now you have Taylor Swift, who's having a legendary run as well, and she's up against Beyonce. There's no real competition, but they're both on tour right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you pick? Well, I already know the answer. You're going to Beyonce over Taylor Swift.
I like Taylor Swift's music, but if I had to pick and I only had one ticket I could go to, it would be Beyonce. But I have my friend Anna went to Taylor Swift in Tampa, and she went to Beyonce also though. But she really enjoyed Taylor Swift. But it's a different type of performance. Taylor Swift doesn't dance.
Guys, are y'all going to Beyonce with your lady? Y'all going to Taylor Swift with your lady? Let me know. Jump in the chat. But I brought that up because Bill Belichick chimed in.
Well, okay, we skipped one, but we'll go back. That's fine. Bill Belichick is this. Yeah, what happened?
I'd also like to add in because I grew up very close to the stadium. What was called Joe Robbie is whatever it is now.
Hard Rock.
Yeah, Hard Rock. When Taylor Swift finished her concert, the streets was just littered with people for hours. I never seen anything like it.
No, her fan base is crazy.
Yeah. So I could tell you right now, her fan base is insane.
Who has more followers, Taylor Swift or Beyonce?
Her fan base is so insane that they are selling tickets literally outside of the arena, the stadium she's playing, just so people can listen to the show.
Yeah.
Not even see it. But
I got Beyonce at 314 to Taylor's 267.
Oof.
Okay. Well.
Winning.
Yeah. Listen, and Ronaldo and
Messi.
No, Ronaldo has both the amount of Taylor Swift and Beyonce combined. So
hold on, Ronaldo has almost 600.
Ronaldo is the most followed person on Instagram.
Really?
He has over 600 million followers.
Yeah, 601 currently.
Bots. They're bot.
No, they're real people.
Bot.
They're real people.
Well, I saw something this week, and people are
get
so
like 10
petty.
million likes. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I saw something with Elon Musk. Elon Musk has like 100-something million followers on X, whatever it's called, Twitter. But someone did a report, and they're like 40% of his followers have 0 followers or never posted.
Like ghost accounts?
Yeah, like all ghost accounts. So like 40 to 50% of his followers just ghost accounts. That's what they're saying. So Ronaldo could potentially have some bots happening.
Well, listen, we're talking Beyonce, Rihanna, and Taylor Swift, but Bill Belichick has picked a side, and his side is Taylor Swift. He said that she is, quote, tough. She has garnered his respect. I'm guessing he saw her.
Why was he talking about Taylor Swift anyway?
I'm guessing he saw her in concert when she was recently in New England, or Boston rather.
Right.
And he said that she gained his respect. She's out there for hours playing the guitar, singing songs, and he is a fan. Can you imagine Bill Belichick at a Taylor Swift concert?
Well, we saw
and he knew
Aaron
the name
Rodgers
of her
was
song.
at Taylor Swift's concert, and Tom Brady was there, but I couldn't imagine Bill Belichick there. Absolutely not.
Bill Belichick knew the name of her song.
I saw the clip. I saw the clip. His PR people gave him that answer.
Oh, come on, Brandon.
Have we ever seen Bill Belichick sit down and do a podcast like that? What show was this? Why was he doing it? And why is he talking about Taylor Swift?
He was asked at training camp.
Yeah, we never seen him in this space. Actually, I want to see Bill Belichick do more damn podcast like this.
Doesn't this feel
he said, quote, she's tough, man. She just stood out there and played right through it. Talking about Taylor Swift playing in the rain when she was, I believe, in
that's
Boston.
That's why he said tough. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
do we have a clip of this at all?
There was no clip of it.
There was no clip.
No.
Okay.
But he knew the name of her songs and all that stuff. Listen, Stephen A. Smith said he spent $20 grand on Taylor Swift tickets.
You know who else is tough? Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that?
I did.
$20 grand on Taylor Swift tickets.
One.
I mean, obviously, he was probably like the whole VIP experience, so it was probably a little bit more.
You know who else was tough?
What happened?
Skip Bayless is tough.
Oh, God.
He's winning right now, Ashley. Skip Bayless is winning. Because when I think about Skip Bayless and what's happening, right? So for some people that have been living under a rock over the last couple of months, Shannon Sharp left the show, right? Like nobody, I think we may have felt some things happening going back to the DeMar Hamlin thing, and they start having some explosive debates and some real head-to-head confrontation. But then all of a sudden one day they're like, oh, I bought myself out, right? And since then, Ashley, I would say that he's had the biggest rebound of the year. And when I think about FS1, you know, and Undisputed, I think about them going head to head with First Take, right? Because Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless started together. It feels like they created this whole debate world, this type of show, but then they went their separate ways. And Shannon Sharp came in, and to me, he was one of the best on television, but he leaves. And since then, you add who? Richard Sherman, Lil Wayne, and now, here you go. Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson just added to the mix. Actually, this came out yesterday.
So are they swapping people? I'm confused.
That's what it seems like.
Because Michael Irvin was what Shannon Sharp now is to Stephen A. Smith. So they just swapped?
Okay, so basically, Skip Bayless took Stephen A's model, right? So Stephen A walked away from Max Kellerman. They had a nice little run together, and he went to this, hey, let's go to this contributor model. I'm going to have Michael Irvin on a Monday, and I'm going to have this guy on a Tuesday, and this person during basketball season. So that's what they did. Michael Irvin's in this position because at the Super Bowl, he was accused of, like, touching a lady. But the Marriott is actually in the wrong, and they're about to probably pay Michael Irvin a shit ton of money because when the footage came out, he didn't even touch the lady. But ESPN and also NFL Network is like, well, we're going to sit this one out. Skip Bayless said, hell no, I'm going to go get Michael Irvin. So I think that, I don't know if this is going to make this show better, but I think it's going to make us tune in, right? And now the chemistry. Well, we got to see the chemistry. Like, how are they going to work together? It takes time. Like, if you go back to when Skip and Shannon first started, it was rough for the first couple of months, maybe even the first 6 to 9 months.
I would say the first year.
I think the difference, though, is if you look, Skip has a connection to all of those people in some way, shape, or form. Him and Lil Wayne are friends. He knows Keyshawn from his time at ESPN. I'm sure him and Michael Irvin have, you know, him being a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, that's the connection there. Also, you got to remember Rachel Nichols is going to be on during NBA season. They have a relationship. So these are all people who, while they're new, Richard Sherman notoriously, they went at it in some way, shape, or form. There's a history, there's a backstory there, and I think that the transition, although it may take a while for them to figure out each other's like buttons and stuff, I do think the transition and the chemistry will be there a lot quicker than it was with Shannon, who he didn't know.
Right. Well, I don't know. It's tough. These shows are tough. You know, we're not a debate show, but you and I will debate, you know, here and there, maybe once a week. And probably once a month, it gets really heated, right? But think about this. We've been doing this for 6 months, and there's been at least 2 times where, you know, we have to have conversations after, like, you good? I'm good. You good? Cool. And we have to have you know what I mean? So, like, that's the thing about daily shows. You've seen it on FS1 or Undisputed. You've seen it on First Take, even when Skip and Stephen A was there. So how are they going to handle those moments? Richard Sherman, he's the type of dude. Remember how this relationship even started? He went on First Take and challenged them, right?
I'm better at life.
So I think it's going to start off great, but then when you're in like halfway through the season and Skip is saying something crazy, Richard Sherman, like, we are expecting Richard Sherman to be Richard Sherman. If you're not, you lose all credibility and we ain't rocking with you no more, right? What are they going to do in that moment?
I need Richard Sherman to just once say, I'm better at life.
Better at life than you.
Like, just bring it back once at the perfect moment. I'm better at life than you.
He said that to him. He was
with a straight face, but it was Stephen A's face that was funny because Stephen A went like this.
Didn't we play it on the show before?
We did. We played it.
Please show this
times.
clip.
Stephen A. literally closed his eyes and like it was almost like a dart went through his heart because he felt that. He was like, "Damn, Skip, that's crazy. Right. That had to hurt."
Right. That was so good. Yeah. Are you watching?
I'm better at life.
Are you watching?
I didn't watch before.
Are you watching? I don't care about all of that. Are you watching Monday? Put it back up. What they say Monday at what time? Please.
9:30.
Monday 9:30 Eastern. If you're in the West Coast, like JP and Jazz, that's 6:30. Are you watching Ashley Nicole Moss?
I will probably watch like the first week, like to see like the vibe and like who comes in, and then I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm not probably gonna watch.
Why'd you just say it like that?
What?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
No, because I was thinking of two things. That I'm gonna be 100%. I'm gonna be no.
She
for
went
real.
from New York to.
I'm gonna be really, really honest. Like I'll probably watch the premiere week,
right?
So that like, because we'll probably talk about it and dissect it, and I want to like actually have the knowledge of it to be able to speak on it. But I probably won't. First of all, I don't even know where FS1 is on my cable.
You ain't watch me when I was on First Things First for that year? You didn't watch me, Ashley?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I don't even know where it is. Like I don't even know how to. I know what the number of ESPN is off the top of my head. I have no idea where this is. I just don't.
I'm just thinking about what I just said. I just kind of met you, what,
I was in, when you were on that show, I was probably what? What year were you on that show?
That was what? That was 2020, 2021?
2020, 2021?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wasn't watching that. I wasn't watching FS1.
That show was weak as hell.
Yeah.
I like Nick Wright. I like Nick Wright, but that show, and I like Chris Bouchard. Chris took my spot. Gave it to him. Really quick before we move on, I don't know where you're trying to take news or if we have other topics, but can we bring JP in? JP, are you there? Last time we called on you, Ashley, in the open of this show, she said this is the voice of God.
Like Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. JP, if you're there, can you come in and give us an update on what's happening in the chat? What are you seeing? You know, I see us hitting 400, 500. You know, so shout out to everybody's rocking with us. Those are big numbers for us. We're going to continue to grow. But JP, are you there? Voice of God, are you there?
I am present, sir.
Okay, what's going on in the world of our chat?
For starters, B. Morale, who doesn't have a job, is fresh off of vacation in the chat talking crazy.
Actually, what? I told you at the beginning of the show.
You did say that.
Didn't I say we need JP's voice? JP, we're gonna send out a video camera to your apartment, your condo, the house, wherever the hell you live, because you are now a part of the show. Well, explain what's happening.
Can I get a tissue, please?
Yeah. You see, so JP, what's happening? Oh,
B. Morale is
move your mic. Get off the show.
A super chatter. But I'm glad he's back, fresh off vacation. He took a week off to get his affairs in order, and we're happy to have him.
How do you go on vacation without a job though? Like,
this is what we need to ask B. Morale. Thank you for that.
Okay, so B. Morale's back. What is he saying though? Like, that's so wild.
He trolled your boat. I mean, he thinks that, listen, today he said that Jonathan Taylor is the second coming of Eric Dickerson.
Okay. All right. All right. Why is that a troll though? Like, that went over my head.
Well, that was just the wildest thing he said today. Also,
hey, hold on. B. Morale just jumped in the chat. He said flight points. I said, how you gonna go on vacation and you don't got a job? He say flight points. You don't even say it right. Ain't no flight points. What is it called? Something miles. What is it? Actually, get yourself together. This is hilarious. All right, what else is going on in the chat, JP?
Ashley's gonna like this one. Half the chat believes that Jay-Z is overrated and not the GOAT of rap.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I'm not even going to debate that. You know, listen, everybody have their own opinions, their own thoughts, their own tastes. You know what I mean? I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. I think he's the GOAT. He's my GOAT. And I mean, he's like MJ. When you think about MJ, you got to look at what he did on you got to look at what he did on the court and off the court. Jay-Z's in that same boat. So anything else before we move on? I think Ashley might be ready to move on to Daily Route. Anything else from our chat?
The last thing is J Payne Golf, who has benevolently asked to host us at the Mile High Stadium in your former Denver Broncos town. He believes that if Josh McDaniels was never your coach, you would have been a Denver Bronco for life. Is there any validity to that statement?
There's no validity behind that statement. The first 4 years of my career was very bad, like terrible. Like I didn't get it. So you know what? Probably because if Coach Shanahan, if we kept Coach Shanahan, I had a great relationship with Coach Shanahan. We had a #1 offense. Drew Brees actually passed us the year they won a Super Bowl, like the last week of the season. But we had a great nucleus, a great core group of guys. So yeah, probably 100%.
Damn,
but no, I probably would have played like 10 years and then went and played another 2 to 3 somewhere else, right? But hell, maybe I would have been like Larry Fitzgerald, right, where they would have worked with me, put me at tight end, and moved me in the slot or something like that. But that was good. Listen, guys, we appreciate you guys so much. This is Ashley Nicole Moss. This is Brandon Marshall. We got Woo out west. We got BC in the booth. We got JP. What are we saying about JP? We got Mander Legend, and we got JP something. So JP, the voice of God.
JP, the jokester?
The voice of God.
Okay, the voice of God. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah. We got JP, the voice of God. We're on Faction Talk, Sirius XM, Channel 103 for all of our listeners. Some people that rock with us every single day just in their car, right? So we appreciate you guys rocking with us. I got some housekeeping items that I want to go through. Just one, really, not a few, just one. How would you guys feel if we tested out another time? 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. start time. Like, please send me your thoughts because I don't want to disrupt B. Morale's routine. You got Christy O, Pamela. I don't know. Is Ghost St. Patrick back?
He came and then he left like a ghost.
He came today?
Yeah.
Oh, so he was here. So even Ghost St. Patrick, those are people that's been with us from day one. I need to add more people to that list. I feel like I keep saying the same people. But there's so many people to rock with us. But please jump in the chat and tell me the best time for y'all. Is it 9 a.m.? Is it 10 a.m.? Is it 11 a.m.? Before I even do that, I need to ask you, Ashley. How do you feel about it? Twin? Partner?
I have no feelings on the matter.
So you'll do 6 a.m.?
I will not do 6 a.m.
7 a.m.?
No.
8 a.m.?
No.
9 a.m.?
Maybe.
Really?
Yes.
I do not see you as a morning person.
I'm not, but I would do 9 a.m.
What time do you wake up?
9 a.m.
Can you, and y'all know where I'm going with it. Can y'all imagine Ashley on a 6 a.m. Production meeting? Can you imagine? I can't see.
Can I imagine you on a 6 a.m. production meeting?
I'm up at 5 a.m. I was up at 5 a.m. this morning just sitting around on Twitter. But it put our team in a bind, JP and Jazz. JP, how do you feel about it? Because this is early for you. We have is it 10 a.m. And so you're on, you guys got to get up early.
7.
Yeah. So how do you feel about it, JP?
I actually like this time because I can walk to the gym, work out with Magic Johnson, and then get in the booth and get in the chat and get ready.
Oh, that was a real thing that you said earlier this morning?
Yeah, they go to the same gym.
Oh, don't disclose your gym, but this is real? Like you actually see Magic Johnson?
He actually owns the gym, so people can Google it. It's a thing. Like you couldn't really just walk in there, but yeah, Magic Johnson owns the gym.
What's the gym?
Equinox.
Equinox?
Yeah.
Say it again?
I like Equinox myself.
Bro, you so smart. How you messed that up? He said Equinox.
Someone said to me, Ashley's light skin. She gonna be mean in the morning. This is true. This is true. I'm not a morning person. My dad says 12 p.m. because people have morning meetings. People with jobs.
Mr. Jeff, where he at? Let me see. Where Jeff at?
He's
where he at? Ashley's dad's in the chat.
Yeah, he says 12 p.m.
Oh,
people
Jeff
with jobs
Moss.
have morning meetings.
I feel like this is not hidden right for me. I see Jeff Moss, but we call you Ashley Nicole Moss. What's your father's middle name? I feel like it should be Jeff Boom, Moss.
Nicole Moss.
What is the what? That was such a Fed question, Brandon.
What's his middle name?
I can't disclose that.
Do you even know your father's middle name?
I do, but I don't know if everybody else needs to know that.
What's your father's middle name?
I can't disclose that
What's
information.
your mother's middle name?
Can't disclose that information either.
Mr. Jeff, what's your middle name?
I can't disclose
No,
that
I'm asking him. He's in the
Go
chat.
straight
He's
Mr.
not
Jeff.
gonna tell you.
I bet he will.
I bet you
Well,
he
no,
won't. Mm-hmm.
see, now he's going to side with you. Mr. Jeff, there's no bet. Can you please disclose your middle name?
He's not gonna disclose it.
Let's see if he does.
What if someone's trying to look him up? What if the
we
feds
can
are
already
looking
do
for
it.
him?
It's Jeff Moss.
There's a lot of
the
Jeff
father of
Mosses.
Ashley Nicole Moss. Married to. Where's he at? Let's see if he jumps in. We'll get back to the show
The
here.
chat's calling you a Fed.
We got a couple people saying just keep the time. One says the timing is perfect right after first.
B.
take and
Marsh the
before other
informant.
shows.
Hold on. Where's Mr. Jeff?
He's
Mr.
not gonna
Jeff.
answer you.
Yes, he would. Stop saying that. He will jump in. Tell him to jump in and
gonna
just
tell you-
give us an answer. Some answer.
They gave you a middle name. Brandon the Fed Marsh.
No, Brandon's middle name is public information. It's Tyrone.
How you know my middle name?
It's public information. We all know your middle name.
Better
That's your middle name,
call
Tyrone?
Tyrone.
Brandon Tyrone Marshall.
Yeah.
They clone Tyrone?
Listen, I mean, I think, look, would you guys rock with me, please? Next week, I want to try a different time, just a little earlier.
Like 11?
Can we try 10 a.m.?
Okay.
Can we try 10 a.m. just for the week? Will you guys rock with us?
10 a.m. at
Let's take a vote.
Brandstar?
Let's take a vote.
That's crazy.
All right, Mr. Jeff is definitely not. Jeff,
Fun fact, guys. Did you know this? JP's middle name is also Tyrone.
what?
That's crazy.
JTP?
Y'all literally Tyrone twins.
You know what? You guys should know this about me too. My middle name's not Tyrone.
What is your middle name?
What's your middle name?
I actually have two.
Really?
Yeah.
What
You don't
is
have
it?
two middle names.
Anthony Felix.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's you have four names. You don't
Yeah, I have
have
four
two middle
names.
names.
No.
You can't have
No.
two middle names.
You could have two middle
Yeah.
names. You could have two last names. What if your last name's hyphenated?
So you're gonna hyphenate. I never heard of a hyphenated middle
Before we
name.
move on, though, I want to ask. I had this conversation with my girlfriends the other day. We were talking about like some of my friends are married and some are engaged and some are having
Stop
babies.
talking like
and-
that. Stop doing it. That's your second time today.
Sorry. How would you feel about your wife not taking your name completely but hyphenating it?
Hold on one second. Jeff Moss, if I catch someone on their phone at 10 a.m., I'm firing them laugh out loud.
As you should.
Oh, man. You're not answering the question, though.
He's not going to answer the
That's
question.
not what we want. That's not what we trying to talk about
Not
right
gonna
now,
tell
Mr.
you.
Moss.
I'm not going to tell you.
Mr. Moss, how do you feel about your daughter having a big moment and being with the elite of the elite, being named one of the faces of Tommy Hilfiger? How do you feel about that? Did you cry?
He
Did y'all celebrate? He didn't? Did he give you a
No.
hug and say, baby, I'm so proud of you?
I mean, it was a congratulations from both my parents, and then we moved on.
What
Like,
did they say? What did they do?
They said congratulations, and then moved on.
That's it.
Listen,
No
my
wine, no bottle of
parents-
wine, no nothing?
My parents don't like how do I explain this?
They're New Yorkers?
Yeah, it's like good job, and then move on. Like it's not,
Yeah, don't get caught in the moment.
you don't get caught up in the moment so much. Yeah,
I don't believe that.
yeah.
I think Mr. Jeff, I think he's like, baby,
No, my parents
my
are
baby.
ultimately like overall
he
very
spoils
proud
you.
of me, but they're of course I'm a daddy's girl, but like they're not like throwing me a parade every time I do something fantastic.
Parade inside my city? Yeah.
Yay. Yeah. Okay, so do we want to talk LeBron and Bronny before we move on to word on the tweet? You want to
Let's-
forego that?
It's your day. You tell us where you want to go.
All right, listen. Brandon wants to talk about this. LeBron and Bronny James, sorry, walked out with Drake at his LA show at the Crypto Arena. We have the video of that, I believe. As you guys know, Drake is on tour right now, and he's in some cities. Sometimes has people. Look, here we go.
Yeah. That's
Look
fire.
at Drake with the Laker fit on.
Well, the reason why I just wanted to highlight this quickly, right? Because we know maybe 6 weeks ago, give or take a couple days here and there, whatever. I definitely chop that up. But we know the situation with Bronny James, right? And fast forward to today or last night, whatever this was, last night. Look at him. He's in great shape, right? Like this guy could be gone. Like this kid could be gone. There was a high school basketball player a couple of weeks ago, right after Bronny went through this ordeal, went through the same thing, cardiac arrest, but he didn't make it.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so extremely blessed, not only to be at the Drake concert coming out and showing everybody that he's in a good place, but they're also saying that this should not impact what he loves to do, and that's playing basketball. So that's big. That's a great update for all of us, right?
Yeah, definitely just happy to see. Oh, Bronny and Bryce James. I'm sorry, we're all at the show together. But yeah, definitely just happy to see Bronny healthy and happy and up moving around. That's the most important thing. So sending a bunch of positivity to the James family. So we're going to go ahead and talk some ball now. Talk some actual sports. This is a sports show, after all, sometimes, most of the time.
Right.
Stephen A. Smith confidently claimed yesterday on First Take that Stefon Diggs no longer wants to be on the Buffalo Bills. He said, quote, he wants out. I have my sources, and we have the video, so take a look at this.
You got Stefon Diggs, this brother all-world receiver, but clearly wasn't happy, walked out, didn't want to talk to nobody. They came into training camp. They had some friction. They had to get settled and all of this other stuff. Brother wants out, by the way. I'm just telling you what I know. I got my own sources. Brother wants out. He don't want to be in Buffalo anymore. He don't want to. I'm telling you right now. I have my sources. Stefon Diggs got to be there, but he would prefer to be gone because he's lost a level of belief in the Buffalo Bills. That's right, I said it. It's Stephen A, baby. I'm telling you what I know, okay? They can deny it, they can tell you what to do. I have my sources. I'm telling you what I know, all right? But he's not going to force his way out. He know he got to be there and they got to perform. But he ain't feeling the Buffalo Bills the way that he once did because he feels there's a window of opportunity that they may have missed out on. Josh Allen's got to show them that's not true.
Well, listen, Stefon Diggs is calling cap because he went ahead and tweeted out, quote, 100% not true. I don't know who the source is, but I thought I'd nip this shit in the bud already.
Right.
Brandon, who is fact and who is cap?
This is a tough one for me, Ashley. Where there's smoke, there is fire.
Oh, okay.
And so, look, the Diggs brothers, they've trained here at House of Athlete, here and there over the last few years. They're amazing people. I love their mom, so I wouldn't call them, brothers or anything like that, but we have a really nice relationship, right? So I haven't talked to either of them about this situation, but actually we talked about it, right? Like we knew that there was something going on in Buffalo, but nobody talked about it. But then minicamp came around. It was mandatory. He missed the first day. Okay, and this is the smoke. He missed the first day. His agent came to town. He was back out there, but they have a meeting. And, I think there has been people saying, like, yeah, he didn't show up and he didn't talk to his teammates, right? So that part of it, I believe, is true. And earlier when we were talking about this earlier, I was thinking like, damn, I felt like I heard, that he asked, to get out for a trade. But I don't recall that, right? So I want to tell you that, you know what I mean? But when you don't show up for, off season, which there's some vets that don't, and you show up for mini camp and you have, a little friction there, something was going on.
Well, he never explicitly said he wanted a trade. It was reported that that's what he was looking for. And that was prior to him not showing up at mini camp.
Right.
So it never came out from Stefon Diggs specifically or his camp, but it has been circulating for a while that he was unhappy in Buffalo and wanted out.
And so look, he came out and he said that, and that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna rock with that. But we definitely know that. I know the question was, is this fact or cap?
I mean, is it fact or is it cap?
I think it's like It's just, I think it's
what's that?
That's like a little bit of both, like PR, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's damage control.
It can't be fact and cap.
Could it be this though?
Okay.
Could it be this? Could it be that in the off season he thought about it, or maybe even asked for a trade, but then they had that meeting, and then it was like, okay, we good now, right? So Stefon Diggs, because if you listen to what Stephen A. said, he said he wants out. No, Stefon can come out and be, 100%
and say,
honest.
I wanted out.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's not fact or cap.
Yeah, I can. Okay, yes, I see that. I think that's why he's saying it's not true, because he was making it seem, Stephen A was making it seem like it's present tense.
That's right.
And Stefon Diggs at this point has already moved on from that, has already settled his grievances wherever they were, whoever they were with, and now is focusing on the upcoming season, is content, is cool where he is. So technically, he doesn't want out.
Yeah.
That's not to say he never wanted out.
Right.
Correct.
That just means at this present time on August 22nd, 2023, I do not want out. So you are wrong.
But
so yes and no.
There you go. We're on the same page.
I feel that.
When this first came out, I think it actually came out a couple days ago. And again, I don't know what's real, what's not on damn social media anymore. It seems like Twitter is where we get our news, right? Y'all taught me that. Right, so I've been spending a lot of time on Twitter. Thanks, JP. Thanks, Ashley.
You're welcome.
But they had like destinations that they asked for. Right, this is all speculation. I don't know if it's true or not. But they had, and this is where it got weird for me. The first destination was the Giants. That's believable, right? Because it's the biggest market. There's a lot of players. I think even Justin Jefferson may even said recently that he could see himself in New York, right? So, like, everybody wants to be in New York except for basketball and playing for the Knicks for some reason. I don't know why. But then they had the Chicago Bears. And I'm like, I don't get the Chicago Bears. And then the third was, so it was the Chicago Bears. And the third was the Colts, I believe. I believe it was the Colts.
Really?
I don't understand the Chicago Bears. I like Justin Fields.
I don't.
But like I don't, but you have something good going on in Buffalo between you and Josh Allen, and it's not always great. Like we've seen this so many times. Tom Brady got into it with Randy Moss, right? You've seen Antonio Brown get into it with Big Ben. You know, that's part of this relationship between the quarterback and wide receiver. You have these type of bumps, right? So I just can't see him, if he did ask for a trade, saying I want to go to Chicago or I want to go to the Colts, right? Like, you're a guy, you're getting 150, 60 targets. Josh, you look up his stats the last 3 years since he's been there, or 4 years since he's been there. He's a top 5, top 3 receiver.
Well, before we move on from this, let's dive into something, though. We have all of this that kind of transpired in the offseason. Stefon Diggs allegedly wanting out, allegedly not being happy with his role, the direction of the team. Him and Josh Allen had that everlasting image of them arguing on the sidelines during the loss to the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Then you also had him not showing up to minicamp. He eventually did show up, but it was late. And now this keeps circulating that he wants it out. He's calling it out and saying it's not true. We know all of the pieces of the story, but the biggest piece is if the Buffalo Bills do not go ahead and perform to the liking of Stefon Diggs, they don't win the Super Bowl, they don't go to the Super Bowl, they don't go to the conference championship, or they do go to the conference championship and they lose, do you see Stefon Diggs once again allegedly trying to force his way out of Buffalo? Do you think that this could be problematic heading into the season when people, every time the Bills have a bad game, they resort to saying, well, this is why Stefon Diggs wants out? It can be distracting. It can be problematic in the locker room.
That's right. I don't know. We talked about this, I believe. I don't know if it was Monday or if it was Thursday, but it was recent. I talked about the different buckets, like what players play for. Maybe that was Monday, talking about James Harden.
Not everyone plays for a championship.
Not everybody plays for a championship. Some people play for a championship. Some people play for the individual accolades, and some people play for the fame. You got the money, right? And there's some guys that want it all, and there's some guys like this the scenery, right? Like I want to be in big cities, et cetera, et cetera. I was a guy towards this second half of my career that I wanted it all. Not the second half of my career, the end of my career. I was already in New York, right? So I'm building my brand. I'm driving from Brooklyn up to 56 and 11th, where CBS headquarters is, shooting inside the NFL. So that was easier than when I was in Chicago and I had to fly there on an off day. So like I'm in my lane. and I'm working on my transition, right? So I'm exactly where I want to be, and I love New York. But then the Jets imploded, right? The first year, great. Second year, we imploded. So now I'm like, damn, this is the end of my career. I got so how many years left? The Giants just went 11-5. The Giants have a Super Bowl winning, 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. They have stability, a stable ownership group. They have a top 5 defense. They have Odell Beckham Jr. on the other side. So I felt like moving from, Florham Park to where they at? I don't even know what that part of where the Giants are, right by MetLife Stadium, whatever.
Don't ask me, ask Andrew.
Somewhere in New Jersey.
Oh, right. You don't even know. I forgot you're a new Giants fan.
So I felt, listen.
I don't know this.
I felt like the Giants would give me everything: an opportunity to win a championship, opportunity to extend, into greatness from a numbers standpoint, the brand, the city, all of that. And then that didn't go well. I think that's where Stefon Diggs is entering, like that part of his career, right? There's nothing in Buffalo. And I don't know this, but if I'm when you look at Stefon Diggs, he's
from a geographical standpoint.
He's a big fish in a small pond, right? Yeah. Stefon Diggs was made for New York. Stefon Diggs is made for LA. Like, though I see him in those two markets. And it's not about anything bad or any beef, but I could see Stefon Diggs, whether this year or next year, saying, you know what, what's best for me in my career now and also getting ready for post is being in New York. Why?
Or Dallas.
Dallas is cool because of legacy and his brother. 100%. I like that. Bigger market. It's the second biggest football market, in the
most valuable
US
franchise. But it is interesting that you bring up the small market, because Stefon Diggs is a player who's always existed in a small market.
That's
Minnesota,
right. You get
small
tired
market,
of it.
Buffalo, small market. And we talk about this all the time in the NBA. It's very rare to see a player go from a small market back to a small market once they've experienced a big market.
Right.
For example, I remember at one point, you'll always hear when KD left OKC and he went to Golden State. In terms of city, it's not the biggest city in California, has a bigger spotlight, but then what happens? He goes to Brooklyn, New York media. Then he goes to Phoenix. Again, Phoenix, not a major city when you think
OKC.
but it's bigger than OKC. When you think of major cities, you may not think of Phoenix, but the spotlight. It's very rare. The same thing with LeBron. When LeBron went from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, it was home because he said he would always win a championship for Cleveland. When people were saying, oh, he's going to resign. No, once you get a taste of a big market, it really takes a lot for you to go back. So what happens? He goes to LA.
Yep.
You don't ever really want to go backwards. It's a different game when you play in Los Angeles.
But isn't that
New York.
the perfect, example of what we're talking about?
Right.
LeBron James right now, obviously Stefon Diggs is a legend, but LeBron James is we debate if he's the GOAT or not, right? He's not the GOAT, but we debate it. But remember, he went to LA. Why? He wanted it all. Remember, there was a lot of pushback. He took a lot of criticism because it's like, oh, he's Hollywood now. He's trying to do movies, et cetera, et cetera. He went there to get his money. He went to win a championship, and he also went there to build uninterrupted Spring Hill and all the other ventures that he's into.
Space Jam.
Right. So like, there's a lot of players. It's a copycat. We copy each other. We study each other, right? And when you think about like LeBron James, the Tom Brady's of the world, we're watching those moves. Basketball, football is the same thing. So I don't think, and I'm not trying to, this is not breaking news. This is not like, I haven't had this conversation. It's just if I'm Stefon Diggs, I would, if I'm not going to win a Super Bowl in the next year or two, I would be like, yo, I'm trying to get to New York or LA, right? Like Stefon Diggs, in a fashion standpoint, he's that guy right now. I don't know if there's a bit, and it's crazy how he was able to do it. I don't know, Ashley, if there's I'm not saying he's the flyest, which I love his style. I think he's top 5. But, he is getting to the bag. All these brands want to work with him, and his team is doing a phenomenal job. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does in that space in the near future and years from now.
Well, we spoke about LeBron a little bit in comparison to the Stefon Diggs situation. So we're going to stay in the state of California, and we're going to talk Steph Curry.
Where are we going?
Because he recently was on a podcast, and he said that he and Magic Johnson are the greatest point guards ever. Listen to this.
Are you the best point guard ever?
Yes. I have to, yes. It's me and Magic. That's the conversation.
Yeah. Like it just.
Okay, so for me, I was actually having this conversation with my dad yesterday and asked him if he agreed, and we were on the same page. It's a little bit.
This is Jeff.
Yes. Yeah.
Still waiting on his middle name. Okay.
This is technically this is a true answer, but when you really dive into it, Steph Curry is not a true point guard.
Okay, Tony.
Magic Johnson was a true point guard. Just because you occasionally dribble the ball up and you run the offense throughout a game or throughout your career doesn't make you a true point guard. Steph is a combo guard. Steph shoots the basketball too much to be a true point guard. Steph doesn't lead and assist enough to be a true point guard. And that's okay because true point guards in the NBA, at least modern NBA, is virtually non-existent. Everybody, for the most part, is a combo guard. You score too much to be a point guard in the NBA. Same thing with a Kyrie. Jalen Brunson maybe is a true point guard. Even he scores too much to be a true point guard. Steph is not a traditional point guard. So by definition, his position, yes, I can agree with that, with what he's saying. But when you really dive into it, I don't think you can put him and Magic Johnson in the same conversation.
Listen, Ashley, not sure what's happening.
Just based on that.
You listen, I don't know what's happening right now, but this is the third time and maybe the first time where we had 3 topics that we agree on.
Oh, wow. Listen to that.
100%, right? Good job.
Okay, awesome.
I like it.
And you both wore white.
And we both wore white. We wore black yesterday.
I'm wearing white.
Somebody, my stylist is telling her what I'm wearing. I wear white tees and black tees every day.
I know, right?
It's so easy. No, but listen, this is why you're right, Ashley. Top 5, and this is just a list that I pulled up on Google. Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson. Then they have Steph Curry at 3. I will put CP3, probably 4.
CP3 is a true
Jerry
point guard.
West. And then you have Isaiah Thomas, right? And so I now put CP3 probably at 5 or 4, okay? This is no knock on Steph Curry. This is actually a salute to Steph Curry. There comes a time every once in a while in sport or in music where someone just transcend what everybody else was already doing. Steph Curry is not a point guard. He's not a shooting guard. He's Steph Curry, right? Like, that's what Steph Curry is. So we had this conversation 2 years ago, 3 years ago when CP3 was going on a run, and we're like, oh, is he top 5 now? Talking about the point guard. You already had that name. And then they kept putting Steph Curry in there. Steph Curry, and it's like, no, like, Steph Curry is different. He's not a point guard, to what Ashley's saying. But for me, it's because, Ashley, it's just like the way he revolutionized the game, if I'm saying that correctly.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, how nobody shot that deep. Were people shooting that deep before Steph Curry?
No, but then also,
I mean, Gilbert Arenas was taking some deep shots, but not like this.
But we also have to look at the landscape of the NBA now, right? For example, this is probably the most positionless era of basketball we have been in. So with that alone, positions are almost irrelevant versus when Magic Johnson was playing. But also, if you look at the way that the Warriors are construction, they run what's called a motion offense. So they don't really have a true point guard. But if you had to give them a point guard, it'd be Draymond Green. He's the primary ball handler. Yeah. He's constantly going ahead and assisting, you know, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, whoever else is on the floor. He is the one who constantly has the ball in his hand. That is his job. So if you wanted to go ahead and label anybody a point guard, by definition, by position that he plays, yes, it's Steph Curry by what's next to his name, but by actually what the definition of a point guard is, it's Draymond. Steph has always been a combo guard.
Right.
He's a small guard, point guard. He just does not, he's not within that position of being a true point guard that I can even compare him to a Magic Johnson because they're so drastically different in what they did and what they currently do.
Right.
I would say if we're talking point guards, you got to bring up a Chris Paul. Chris Paul was like the last of one of the true point guards, or is the last true point guard, I would say, in the NBA right now.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Ashley. I was laughing, and sorry if I distracted you there, but when you talked about Draymond Green, I'm like, you're right. But I thought about like what broke up, KD, Draymond, I was about to say Kyrie, Clay, and Steph. You remember?
Yeah.
He took the point guard too far. That boy, he brought up the ball in the clutch. KD sitting there wide open. You know you're supposed to pass KD the ball. That boy that went all the way up the court, dribbled off his leg, game over, and they get in the biggest fight, and they never recovered from it. So when you were telling that story, that's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, damn, Ashley's right, but Draymond Green being the point guard is what forced KD out the damn
the reason
valley.
the reason I'm not mad at Steph saying this though is because I do think that Steph Curry is what the point guard position has become.
Oh, okay.
While Magic Johnson is a true point guard, so if you are a historian of the NBA, you won't put Steph Curry and Magic Johnson in the same conversation when talking about the greatest point guards ever. There's a list of guys that would come before him. But the reason I'm not mad at Steph saying this, and the reason that I can almost get with him saying this, and I do get with him saying this, is because he is what the point guard position has become. It is not just the guy who goes ahead and assists. It's not the guy who just goes ahead and has handles or go ahead and is out there dishing. It's the guy who goes out there and is dropping 20, 30, sometimes 40 points. That is what the point guard position in a positionless NBA has become. So while in a traditional sense, no, in a modern sense, yes.
Okay. I would like to also add in that because I was thinking Magic Johnson, but you know who his game to me compares the most to this modern era? Nikola Jokic. Jokic. The way he plays, their body frame. You know what I mean? Like he's a ball passer.
Really?
Like that's a lot closer comparison, at least to the 1980s Magic Johnson point guard position. Versus a Steph Curry who's barely 6 foot, shoots a lot more.
Yeah, I mean,
so
listen,
the skill set has transferred.
Nah, Steph Curry's not barely 6 foot. Don't put that on him.
Sorry, I mean, he's like 6'1".
Steph Curry's like 6'5".
No, he's not.
Steph Curry?
Really?
I got him at 6'2".
No, Steph Curry no
6'5".
I thought he was taller.
To you, he's 6'5".
What's crazy is
Yeah, to
I
me,
don't know
he's
if I've
6'5".
ever seen Steph Curry. I've never been to a game and seen him up close, personal, and I've never seen him out like anywhere. I've never seen Steph Curry.
Does
Have
he
you seen
exist?
Steph Curry in person?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, a few times.
I've never seen Steph.
Yeah.
I would like to see Steph. He seems like a nice guy.
Why did
Is
I
he a
think-
nice guy?
It's so nice, so nice. Why did I think Steph was like 6'4"? I gave him a
Yeah.
couple more inches.
No,
I
he's
could have.
a
Are you sure 6'2"?
Klay Thompson is 6'5".
Maybe that's what I'm
shorty.
thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of Clay. I thought Steph was at least 6'4" though. Okay, I could be wrong.
They're
But
giving him 6'3" in the chat, but that could be with shoes on.
oh my
Man,
god.
all basketball numbers are inflated. If they say they're 7 foot, they're 6'9".
Yeah.
They say they 6'5", they're probably 6'2.5".
Well, we're going to go ahead and switch gears, stay in the basketball world, but we're going to talk about something a little bit sadder. I was actually really sad when I heard this conversation transpire with Trae Young, and that is Lonzo Ball. He opened up to Trae Young about the fallout and the failures, rather, of the Chicago Bulls. He said, quote, "I feel like we really had a chance and never got to see what it was." Listen to this.
I feel bad just for the GMs just because I feel like they made the perfect team around me. And I felt like I was involved in, that was the most I've ever been involved in an organization. And I finally got the perfect team, that I felt like to fit my game and play my way and really just do, what I wanted to do. So that injury, that I'm still going through it right now. But that one messed me up early just because I feel like we really had a chance and never got to see what it was.
This is actually really, really sad. Lonzo Ball had so much just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not just attention. He has so much expectation around him of what he could be, what he would be in the league. He was the first Ball brother to go pro. Yep. It was just so much around him. And it has come out that he will miss the 2023-2024 NBA season following a cartilage transplant in his left knee, which happened in March. And he appeared, like we just saw on Trae Young's podcast.
This 2 years?
Yes. I think it's more than 2. I mean, he was injured in part. So yeah, I would say
like
2 years.
2.5?
Yeah, like 2.5 at this point.
Wow.
You know, he's speaking truth, though. The Chicago Bulls really built that team around Lonzo Ball to be the nucleus of that entire existence. And just the injury and just everything that could go wrong went wrong for this Bulls team. And it's just a shame because he had such an immense amount of talent that was just so much room to grow it and to mold it and to develop it. Chino Hill's legend, obviously, which is why I'm going to go ahead and bring in JP, who's from the California state. Listen, or lives there, rather. I mean, JP, like, explain to people just the legend of Lonzo Ball when he was in high school. I mean, it was a big deal.
The Ball brothers revolutionized high school hoops. They potentially put Baller's life on the map because those highlights were just stupid.
When you say revolutionize it, it's like the approach to it, how they played the game.
The high school mixtapes, like Baller's life basically just blew up because the Ball brothers were out there just going crazy. And LaMelo, when he went through it, and remember they all went through the same high school, so it put that high school on the map. But I mean, it's unfortunate because this is not the way this was supposed to go.
So I think you may have already said this. So are they saying it's over? It could potentially be over. His career could be done.
It depends. I can have JP chime in here also. I mean, it depends on who you ask. Some people are expecting or hoping rather that he can go ahead and make a comeback. Some people are saying we won't see him probably until 2025. And at that point, who even knows what version of Lonzo you get? I mean, JP, like, what is it, some things that you think that people, or that you've seen that people are saying about Lonzo?
He's at least a year and a half out from being NBA ready. So that could potentially be the end of his NBA career as we know it.
Well, here's what I would say, right? Like, they made it, right? I get what you're saying. The spotlight, the expectations, and we bashed his father, but you had 3 boys, 3 sons that grace an NBA court. I know the other one, what's his name? LiAngelo, like, he didn't really make it. It didn't pan out, but he graced the court.
Yep.
That's a big deal, man. So shout out to his father. I don't agree with everything he does and says or what he used to because he's a lot more quiet. He's quieter now. But that's big. And then also to Lonzo, like, you made it in the NBA.
Why do you say he made it? Like, he's only 25 years old.
Well, this is a big deal, right? Where can we look and see how many, or somebody jump in and tell me how many years he's been on ice?
But 2.5. Think about it this way, though. I know, but think about it. Think about it this way, though. He's only 25 years old. He doesn't play like a Ja Morant, so he's not like in the air doing these circus tricks. That's not his game. So it's not like there's gonna be a lot of. He's going to lose a big chunk of his game in terms of his agility.
Like Derrick Rose.
Right. Well, even Derrick Rose played more like Ja Morant. Yeah, and that's why he got hurt.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying.
Oh, you mean after?
Yeah, but I think to Ashley's point, he could potentially still come back and impact the team in a major way off of his game. Like, D Rose lost a lot. And
because
he talked about it on
the Ja Morant
right, and he talked about it on one of the podcasts, the one they do, the barbershop in New York. I forget the name of it. But he was like, the struggle was when he came back, he was trying to relearn his body and tweak his game to fit like how he was feeling. And so what made not Ja Morant, Derrick Rose and one of the youngest MVPs the league has ever seen was that Ja Morant like type of game, right? So Lonzo Ball, you're right, Ashley, that he could potentially come back and still impact the game or play a huge role on the team. But also, like, and I'm not trying to be funny, but he can go over there and be like Stephon Marbury, go to China.
No, Why are you always trying to send people to China?
Because, like, think about it. In 2 years, he comes back. they might move on. They might not be ready. I'm talking about the entire league. You've seen this before. China's not a bad option. He can make a lot of money, sell a lot of shoes.
I don't think it's going to result in him going to China, but I will say this: it's going to be interesting how he not so much the physical, because the body has a miraculous way of healing itself. It's, for me, the biggest thing is 2.5 years, 3.5 years, which is what ultimately it will be when he returns.
It's a big deal.
It's a mental thing at that point. Like, how do you mentally, and Brandon, I mean, you never had any major injuries, did you?
Well, I mean, not where I missed this amount of time, but I had 3 hip surgeries, snapped my deltoid, collapsed lung, broken ribs.
During a little
bit,
a couple major injuries,
but I never
couple Band-Aids.
But no, not that much
torn
time.
arteries and veins.
Jesus. Okay, well, not that much time, but they say, and you can go ahead and speak on this. The hardest thing when you have an injury that takes you away from the game in any capacity is when you return to it. Is getting your body and your mind on the same page, because your body. Your body will be healed, but your mind will tell you no, because we did this last time and this happened.
Right.
And you have to go ahead and be able to overcome the fact that your mind is going to try to protect your body from making the same mistake twice. Yeah. We've seen that with Dak Prescott. When Dak Prescott came back, and I know I was going to say you always bring it back to the Cowboys. It's the first thing that's in my.
Said that.
Everyone in the chat says this.
No, they don't.
That's fine. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I can.
Telling ourselves stories.
I'm gonna use that because I can actually envision it. I remember the first game Dak came back from fracturing his ankle. You saw him have an open pocket to run through, and he wouldn't do it because his mind said, when we ran, this happened to us. And you literally saw him in real time freeze up. I'm talking about the hole was open, and he would not run through it. And he even said it took him a while, like almost a season, to go ahead and get his mind and his body on the same page to know that it's okay, we're healed, we can do this. And that's going to be the hardest part for Lonzo.
I agree with you there. After my 3rd hip surgery, I had a micro fracture surgery. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's been so long. It was tough. It was my 3rd hip surgery. The first 2 went well. I was still experiencing some discomfort, right? So that's why I had to go back in. But I was so frustrated with the process. Like, get this, my hip is hurting, but I was so frustrated with the process. And I was sitting in my house and I just started breaking down crying, right? And the only thing I could think about doing to ease the pain was putting on my Beats by Dre's and going to run. I've never ran this far before.
Oh, wow.
I literally ran 10 miles. Like, I literally ran 10 miles, never ran that far. And I cried the whole time. And I'm like, damn. Is my career over, or do I need to be done? That's the stuff I was thinking about. I ended up coming back, I believe, it may have been an all-pro year, probably a Pro Bowl year. But to your point, Ashley, absolutely, that's the last thing that you got to get over, is getting over that hump. Whether you're a football player, getting hit again, being able to accelerate, decelerate, do it, a few games in a row. Though you're seeing it with what's his name, Mekhi Becton, the right tackle for the Jets, right?
Really?
He was a 1st-round draft pick. They drafted him to be a bookend at the left side. He ended up getting hurt 2 years in a row, whatever. And this year, he's actually just turned it around this past week. But this year, the reason why he hasn't been out there, they still haven't given him the right tackle, like the starter title, is because they we need to see you do it for a whole game. But he was going in and coming out, going in and coming out. When have you ever seen an offensive lineman come out and tap out?
Right.
But it was all in his head. So, look, Lonzo Ball, congratulations on some phenomenal things. Hopefully he makes it back. But Ashley, you think I'm playing? But there's China. China is a great option.
Stop trying to send people to China.
I wish there was a China option in football. I would still be playing football. Do you know how much money is over there in China? Like, y'all think...
A lot.
Anybody can go over there. Name me a 25 to 50 NBA player. Give me a name. Not top 25. Give me a name.
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart can go over to China and he gonna have a crowd around him. It might not be as big as James Harden's, but I'm telling you, they love us
basketball.
over there.
Yeah.
Right, they love us over there.
Yeah.
I wish they had football.
BC's saying they love us over there. He's been.
Well,
All right, tell us about
They
it.
love the Knicks in China.
Tell us about it, BC.
No,
What they love.
That's
BC.
true though.
BC, jump on.
No, they do. They love the Knicks in China because remember the Knicks have a big Asian fan base.
That's right.
There are
Yeah.
a few teams that do really well in Asia because
Right.
of their fan base. The Warriors do really well in
Josh
Asia.
Hart need to go to China.
The Knicks do really well in China. The Nets do really well in China.
The whole Knicks team should go to China.
Because-
make more money.
They'll win all the championships.
You realize we're the most valuable franchise in the NBA, right?
Just like the Cowboys.
Just like the Cowboys, but y'all don't win nothing.
Don't win nothing, bro.
But we
This
are
year's the
worth
year, though.
the most.
This year is the year. Listen, Ashley, are you gonna ride with me? You gonna bet with me? I'm gonna make some bets. I ain't
Bet
gonna go
with
as
you on
big
what?
on the boxing. On boxing, I'll go big. On football, I'm betting $25 to $50, $100, like 4-leg parlays. I might bet the money line on games. I'm saying that because this is the year the Cowboys gonna get it done, and I'm gonna make a lot of money off of the Cowboys.
Hey, chat. You see, I didn't bring up the Cowboys. Brandon did. Don't come for me.
Nobody, stop making up stories. You
are.
got these things on your head.
Everybody
I've
in
never
the
seen that in
dialogue
the
right
chat.
now.
Everybody in the chat is like,
creating
why
a-
is she always bringing up the Cowboys? I didn't bring them up this time. You did.
Why are you listening to? See, just
saying.
like they tell athletes.
I'm just saying.
Don't read the news.
I'm
Don't
not.
read the
I'm just
clippings.
saying.
Don't read the comments. Do you know? I've like the first time I read comments on my Instagram account was when we started this podcast.
Really?
Yeah, there was some Twitter, because Twitter, it's a feed. There's been times I've seen things on Twitter, right? That's what Twitter is. But I would just post a picture and be out of there. I didn't even know that was a thing. People be commenting,
God.
and they spend a whole 20 minutes underneath a picture or a video having a conversation. That's crazy. That's wild. So I'm saying all that because we were trained as athletes to eliminate distractions. Don't listen. Block out the outside noise. So Ashley, you are in the chat.
I'm not-
And these people are telling you, don't bring up the Cowboys. You know what? If you want to bring up the Cowboys, you bring up the
Brandon,
Cowboys.
you think I care? I'm
Yes,
going to
you do.
constantly
Yes,
bring
you
up
do.
the Cowboys.
Yes, you do.
I still bring up the
You're
Cowboys.
working. I think you do. I think you
No,
care.
I will bring up the Cowboys all football season. It is what I'm going to do. What do you mean?
This is going to be our year. Mr. Jeff,
Our year.
I already got one vote. Ashley gave me a vote to welcome me into the Cowboys fan base.
You haven't proven yourself yet. We're still waiting to.
Oh, that's week 1, right?
Yeah. We got to see how you do it when we play the Giants, and that will go ahead and determine whether or not your application is approved.
Yo, Dak
So-
Prescott.
You're more than welcome to the Giants, by the way, B. Just want to let you know that.
I played for the Giants.
He wants no parts of that. Just want to put that
Hey,
out
yo.
there.
It's our year.
Woo, pull up Dak Prescott's career records versus the Eagles, the Giants, and the Washington football team Commanders, and some people are asking him to go back to the Redskins. Pull that up. Do you know these numbers, Miss Cow?
I don't know them off the top of my
Cowgirl,
head.
Huh?
I don't know off the top of my head.
You said the Jets?
No, the Giants.
Oh.
Dak Prescott's career record versus the Giants, the Washington football Commanders. Some people want the Redskins back, and also, boom, the Philadelphia Eagles.
So, Giants, I hate to say this, he's 10-2.
Woo!
Commanders, 9-2.
Woo!
And Eagles, he's 8-3.
Woo! You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a lot of wins.
Say it. How about them?
How about them Cowboys? What did Jameis do? When he licked his fingers, he said, "Tastes like a winner."
Yo.
Tastes like a winner. That's a lot of wins.
What are you
That's
doing
a lot of
after- it's over
NFC
for you,
East
Ash.
wins.
What are you doing? What are you doing after every Cowboys win this year? Do you remember?
I'm gonna shotgun a beer, not just any beer. Troy Aikman's 8 beer. Do we have enough for the football
Hold
season?
on, time out. So now that you're a big deal now, for those who are tuning in right now and wasn't here at the beginning of the show, we had some news, not daily news. We had some news,
no.
right? And so, but Ashley, you're this big superstar now, or you've been a superstar, but now it's you're look at this. But
Thanks.
So this is Ashley Nicole Moss. She's one of the faces of Tommy Hilfiger now. You know, I don't know why she act all shocked and surprised when we showed this earlier.
I wasn't shocked. It was just,
You're like, oh my goodness!
I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this to be the news.
I put it on Twitter, but don't put it on paper
God.
route. Oh my goodness! I'm a cover girl.
That's
Tommy Hilfiger.
What?
That's what it is.
That is a spot-on impression, by the way.
That's exactly what she did. Yes. And then today, where was this voice? I know he posed a rap, but where was this voice all day? She was like, where were you doing today?
Oh, with the hands.
I didn't hear. Oh, when I go like this.
Yeah.
So I have this friend.
Yeah, like what? Who is this Ashley? But really quickly, we have a minute. Ashley, can I represent you now? Because there's going to be so many more brands coming. Now you got Tommy Hilfiger, Troy Aikman. You do business with me. You want Ashley Nicole Moss, all right, to chug this beer, after every Cowboy win. There'll probably be 12 to 13 of them this year. Probably 13 to 14 of them this year. All right, you got to go through me. Is that cool, Ashley?
Sure.
Okay, who else you want to go after? What other brands do you like?
I'll come back with a list.
Hair, makeup, skincare. What's your skincare routine?
Oh, wait, you know Rihanna. Get some Fenty my way.
Fenty.
You and Rihanna are like
Ashley
this.
Nicole. Hey, listen, that's what I'm going to tell you, Rihanna. You hear me calling your name right. She corrected me. She know. Right now, you can get her cheap.
Oh.
You can get her cheap.
Okay.
Because in about a year from now, the bag going to get a little bit bigger. So let's lock her in right now.
You know it's not cheap? Time. And time is money. And we've run out of time. But we will be back tomorrow, so make sure you guys tap in with us. Tomorrow's my favorite day. So
Rihanna, Troy Aikman.
Hump day.
Hump day.
We'll see you guys.
Call me.
Day.